Oh, hold on. All right, y'all, we're gonna get started here in just a second. I'm just gonna give you all just a little bit of time to come in. Give me 1 second. Setting up my camera. Probably should have had it set up already. Give me 1 second. This is going to be a really quick live update here from the federal courthouse. We're covering the Diddy trial. I just want to give everybody just a quick second to come in. I'm going to give it about 60 more seconds. Happy Friday to you all. And then I'm going to jump in, and feel free to do the replay. Feel free to do the replay if you missed the beginning of this video. This is a YouTube only live, and I got to tell y'all what happened today. I'm frustrated. There's a couple of things that happened today, and it's getting a little bit more technical from the side of the prosecution and the defense team. And y'all, they spent a great majority of the day arguing racism, biases. Is the government trying to pick off the black jurors one by one by one by one? I'm gonna jump in, and everybody else that just comes in, y'all can pick up wherever you pick up. It's Friday. I don't want to hold you too long. Give me 1 second. Hold on, y'all. I don't want to burn you straight. Hold on. I think I'm good. Let me turn my camera around. All right, let me turn my camera around and we can get started. So thank you everybody for tuning in today. I am Queen Sheba. I am live. I'm really close. I am live from the federal courthouse. Today is Friday. It is week 5, day 23 in the Diddy trial. So there's a couple of things that happened today. Number one, the defense did a really, really good job of catching the federal agent in a lie. Caught him in a bold-faced lie. Number two, they argued back and forth because the defense issued a concern regarding the government being biased as it relates to the black jurors. The jurors on the juror selection, and how they feel like the government is trying to pick the jurors off one by one. Because let's just be honest, here's a couple of concerns that they had with the juror. Let me get my notes. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Dang, I just had my notes. You know what? My brain is good. I can remember. So the first concern they had with the juror, and the defense said, listen, you're picking this guy apart. You're just going to go and go and go until eventually you get what you want. So the initial concern that they had was the juror was illiterate, and they questioned the level of his literacy. And the reason why we know that was a valid question that they had, I'm not going to say it's valid, but I can confirm that was a concern, is because Diddy's defense team came back a little bit later and said, listen, as a matter of fact, it was Xavier Donaldson that came back and said, listen, he didn't say black, but we're talking about a black juror, right? Listen, the man can read and write, and I can verify that for you. That's the first issue that they took up with, questioning the level of his competence and his literacy. So then the second issue that they took up with him is he seemed to be in favor of Diddy. This is a juror where the government was concerned. They didn't like his facial expressions. They didn't like what appeared to be him, just whatever it was, right? The body language of him possibly being a possible count and or vote for Diddy. Now, let me say something. They even took up issue today, the government, and they raised the concern with the judge that they felt like, and they accused Diddy of taunting the witnesses. In particular, the special agent that had taken the stand, that was actually the lead agent in charge of raiding the Miami mansion, right? And they accused Diddy of taunting the witness, and part of their reasoning was that he nodded a lot when the witnesses would talk. And if you can remember, the judge had already given Diddy a warning about minding his head nod. Now, I can see how a head nod can be perceived as trying to influence and or convince the witnesses to get a yes in one aspect. I have to be fair in one aspect. However, I do realize that there may be some biases and a lack of cultural awareness as it relates to us as a people, because if you know anything about black people, we can be sitting there and thinking about something and nodding our head. We can hear a song, nod our head. You can really say something that's going to hit my spirit, I'm going to nod my head. It doesn't mean that I necessarily need or want a yes from you. So I feel like that's a little bit of, it's subjective. It's subjective, right? I understand their concern that nodding your head could imply that you want a yes from the jury, or you're attempting to communicate with the witness. But if you look at it from a cultural norm, that's how we communicate. That's how we communicate our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. So is there some bias? Is there some subconscious bias? I'm gonna say yes. At first, I didn't think so. But after I sit and I hear the arguments from both sides, and then I look at the prosecution team, initially, it didn't occur to me that there was any biases. I just said I respected the brilliance of both the prosecution and the defense. But as the government continues to bring up concerns and issues that are centered primarily, it seems, around people of color, there may be some biases. There may be some strategic moves that they are thinking through in order to swing the vote and flip the House to ensure that Diddy doesn't get off. Okay, even as it relates to Diddy himself. And the government said, Your Honor, watch this, we want to be clear that it's understood we're not asking that Mr. Combs is removed from the courtroom. If you understand reverse psychology, although you may not be asking right now that he be removed from the courtroom, eventually, if you make enough passive noise and kindness, bringing up your concern and kindness, and also giving him the courtesy to remain in the courtroom, but we just want to make sure he's mindful that even though we can't see him and he's seated behind us, it's been reported to us from our colleagues from the back that he's taunting a witness. Now, my question to you all is, who gets to decide? Who gets to really decide if he's actually taunting a witness because he's going like this every now and then if he hears something? One thing I can appreciate about the judge is that he told the government, listen, there's going to be some head nodding. You know, it's just a natural human reaction and emotion. You know, the judge said, I'm okay with that, as long as there's not a clear and obvious sign of him trying to influence, intimidate. You know, you can't really say that somebody's taunting a witness. And I thought that was a very strong language to use, considering the undertone of it all based on the argument today between the defense and the prosecution. You know, you have to really, white people, you really have to be mindful of your words when you're in the middle of a bias and racial debate. You know, when you come back and you say he's taunting the witness, he's doing this and that. And what would make you feel like he's taunting the witness is a simple nodding of the head. Is Diddy very active in this court case? Yes, he is. Does he nod his head? Yes, he does. Do I nod my head? Yes, I do. Am I trying to influence the witnesses or get a yes from the jury? No, I'm not. So I have to move. Give me 1 second, y'all. Thank you. Give me 1 second. He's asking me to move. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. But it does not. It's subjective. It can be perceived either way. And I understand both sides. I really do. And that's the fairness where I'm saying I have to be fair. But what it's starting to look like is that you're going to pick this man off. And I feel like if it is a race issue, right? Because you do have 4 white women, no blacks, no minorities on the side of the government. And when you look at the witnesses that the government has brought forward on their behalf, it can be perceived that way. So I understand the defense's rebuttals, and in some aspects, I can understand the concern about the head nod. But the huge question is, are you picking these men apart, including Diddy? Because you brought up concerns about the witness. That was explained. He can read and write. Okay. Then you brought up another concern. Their second concern was he lied about where he lived. And they feel like his residence is truly outside of the district of the court, right? They're saying that his answer wasn't clear. His answer isn't upfront about where he truly lives. And it seems like he may commute back and forth between New Jersey and New York. Did he lie? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is they pushed until they got his ass up off that jury, out of that box. Okay, that's the first thing. Let me back up and just kind of give y'all a rundown of what Diddy had on today. He had on a coffee-colored sweater, tan pants. He came out, he seemed to be a little happy and lighthearted and chipper. And he had a big legal folder today, okay? I feel like yesterday was a really good day for the defense, and maybe that's the reason for his mood. So today, I'm sorry. Oh, I burped. Sorry. So I want to focus on a special agent today. The defense and the prosecution went back and forth about the legitimacy of the special agent's testimony before he came out. The government says we just need him to come out and verify if there were indeed weapons in the home, and if the weapons were secured when he came in the home after the search and rescue team went in first. Okay. The defense stood up and said, no, that's not good enough for us. Because if you're going to bring a special agent on the stand from Homeland Security, we got more questions than that. And according to you, he did not really participate in the seize. He's operating on hearsay and a report, and he got there second. So he really can't testify to the fact of who opened that safe, if the safe was compromised, if the safe was opened by force, or if it was opened by combination. And I'm going to tell you Diddy's team's words. I'm going to paraphrase. Mark Agnifilio says, Fed agents are liars and crooks. That was his concern. Now, federal agents have the capacity to lie. And I think what he was leaning towards is there's no documented evidence, pictures. Here's what it looks like. Here's the house before we got there. Here's the house as we're entering the home. Here's where this evidence was before we touched it. Here's us in the process, before, during, and after. They didn't have any documentation of that. So Mark Agnifilio's concern is how we know you didn't plant those guns there. How we know you didn't put some of that evidence there. If you can't explain what happened and you are the lead agent, then what are you here for? And the judge actually agreed. The judge turned to the government and said, so he can't answer these questions? And she said, Your Honor, no. And here's the reason. And she explained that there's typically two teams that participates in federal seizes and searches. There's a team that goes in first to clear the area, to make sure it's safe, and make sure there's no weapons or anything out. They clear it for the second team. The second team actually comes in and documents what they see, right? So the judge said, who would be able to confirm if somebody opened the safe, forced it open, if the weapons were moved, if the guns were taken out? She says, I'm not sure. Because it's such a massive production. It's really hard to pinpoint one particular person that would be in charge. The defense said, if he cannot answer specific questions, how can we really rely on him as an expert witness? Because when you are thinking about the capacity of the case, we are trying to book this man on racketeering, sex trafficking, and a RICO. And you mean to tell me your special agent is just here for shits and giggles? And he really isn't the key person that can give us direct testimony? Who can? So the judge decided to go ahead and allow the special agent to take the stand, right? And the judge said, however, to the prosecution, I'm going to allow the defense to stand up and object and object and object and object if they need to, okay? So let's talk about it. The judge once again clarified that the agent don't know about specifications of the firearms. And he said, why is he testifying? But he decided to allow the process to move forward. The special agent did take the stand. The special agent did acknowledge that he doesn't have firsthand knowledge, nor did he doesn't have firsthand knowledge of if the guns were moved, if the guns were even there before his team, where they were, the location, the position, if they were in a safe before his team got there, because the team failed to take photos of the mansion. Y'all, big, beautiful mansion. When I tell you that's a big house, that's a big house. But how you fail to take photos of before, during, and after? They did take pictures. They only took pictures of after. And I kind of have to agree with the defense is we don't know what you moved, what you didn't move, if this was really in the bathroom or on the nightstand, like you said, or if this was really in the security room, because none of you can validate that for us as expert witnesses. So watch this. This is how they caught him in a lie. They asked him, do you have personal knowledge if the guns were in the safe when you know where the guns were? Do you have personal knowledge of what condition that house was before you arrived? He said, no, I don't. Okay, let me ask you a question. What's your protocol? when you do searches and seizures, what's your protocol as Homeland Security? He admitted, he said, I participate in the planning of the siege, but I really can't provide expert testimony about what the process was before I got there and the search and rescue team went in first. I come in, my agents brief me, and then I kind of walk around and document. They said, okay, did you even think to ask them what condition the house was in? Did you ask them about the guns? Hey, did you move the gun? How did you get that safe open? He said, no, I didn't. Okay, they continue. Watch this. Watch this, hold on. The special agent testified he does not know how the safe was opened. But there was a locksmith on site. He did verify that. He could not verify if the safe was opened by force or combination, and they showed him a picture. He verified from looking at the picture, he still cannot give us a definitive answer if that safe was opened by them knowing the combination or if it was forced open or anything like that, right? He couldn't verify if the long guns were in the safe, if they weren't in the safe. He couldn't verify anything. They asked him, then who can? And he said, maybe somebody from the search and rescue team. They said, clarify your role to us tell us what do you do? He said, I'm a lead agent. Do you know the exact location of where your team found the firearm? He said, no, unless I have an exact reason to ask. They said, wait a minute. When you come in, you don't really get a detailed summary of what happened when they entered the home. No, unless I have a reason, an exact reason to ask. So what he's saying is I trust my team. Unless they give me a reason to question their word, then I'm not going to ask them anything. I'm just going to take it for face value. That's an issue when you're dealing with the RICO and racketeering trial. You need to have everything. You need to, as an expert, in my opinion, you need to provide and be able to answer all questions on both sides of the prosecution and the defense. Watch this. So Mark Agnafilio says, so you don't know? He said, yes, that's correct, I don't know. Have you seen photos, videos of the safe being opened? No. Wait a minute. You go into Mr. Combs' home on the behalf of Homeland Security, yes, but there's no photos or videos that you can tell us about that you've seen of them entering the home. Police, wait, no. Nah, he said no. Watch this. Okay, do you have any photos or video evidence of the contents in the home? Hi, girls. Good to see you. They said, do you have any photo or video evidence of the contents that were in the home before your team arrived? No. Then how in the hell would you know what was there, what wasn't there? And Mark Agnafilio did a really good job of planting and influencing the jury to say, listen, federal agents can be dirty. They can be crooked too. They've been known for planting evidence. People are people are people are people. He did a really good job with that. Watch this. And when I tell you, they caught him in a lie. The defense said, so solely you're for Homeland Security. That's correct. But you don't know what happened before you got in there. No. So no. And then he says, wait a minute. Well, there was some ATF on the team with us. This was an expansive search. So we brought in some people from ATF. Okay. What's your protocol? Watch this. What's your protocol for searches and seizures? He says, we have meetings. And Mark said, you have meetings, right? To discuss where your points of entry are going to be, what you're looking for, what the outside of the home looks like, what the inside of the home looks like, correct? Is that typically what the protocol is? He said yes. So you have meetings for protocol, yes. And in your protocol, is there an expectation of your agents to photo all items before moving them and transporting them to an alternate part of the home? Yes, but your team didn't. No. Watch this, watch this. Ooh, so Diddy was nodding. Watch this. The agent reinforces that the SR team goes in, clear the area. Unfortunately, he cannot intercede on what they're doing, and his job is just come in and document what he sees. The defense says they begin to poke holes in the Homeland Security's protocol. He says, so nobody took pictures of how things were before your arrival. That's correct. This is how they caught him lying on the stand. They said, how many searches and seizures in your entire career have you participated in on the behalf of the United States of America as it relates to Homeland Security? He said 60. Watch this. Is this the only search and seizure in your entire career that you found baby oil and Astroglide? He said yes. Mark Agnafilio says, you mean to tell me that of all the sex trafficking raids that you've done in your career, this is the only house where you found baby oil, sex contraband, and Astroglide? He said yes. Mark Agnafilio said, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Y'all, that was brilliant. You just lied. You raid homes on the behalf of Homeland Security as it relates to sex trafficking. You mean to tell me nobody in the world has ever had baby oil, condoms, as many women that are abused? Only Diddy. Yes. Brilliant. Caught his ass in a bold-faced lie. And that's the point that he was trying to prove before the jury came into the courtroom. He stood up out of his own mind. He said federal agents are liars before they got in, because they get to argue their point. And at first I thought, damn, the defense is doing a bit much regarding all of this. But guess what? He just proved his point. Walked him like a dog. Threw the bait out there. Reeled him in. Boom. You just lied. You just lied. Does that even make any sense to y'all? Yes or no? Yes or no? Real quick, I want to talk about Jonathan Lopez. He testified today on the behalf of the government. Give me 1 second. It's a lot of noise. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of noise on in the background. I want to be mindful of it. Be respectful. Jonathan Lopez took the stand today on the behalf of the prosecution. I felt like Jonathan was a very believable witness. He was strong. He was thorough. New Yorkers make so much freaking noise all day long. He was strong, he was thorough, he was confident. Listen, he did a really good job. Not only, he was the perfect witness. He didn't try to create this malicious story. He didn't over-exaggerate. He answered the questions yes or no. You could tell he had no underlying agenda and or motive. He was just there because he was subpoenaed and he was there to tell the truth, which you have to do when you take the stand. I appreciate that as a person in the courtroom. I didn't sense him lying about anything. Now, let me tell you what I think. Unfortunately, he did such a good job. Such a great job. I feel like he just implicated KK. And the RICO has been established. A lot of you have kept saying, or you've been saying, we need more than one person. He established that KK organized, orchestrated, was well aware, and was the ringleader. And was indeed the ringleader of the sex trafficking. Everything. He didn't say it, but because of his honesty and transparency, it was so obvious. KK had a hand in this, and not only that, she was the go-to person. She is the chief of staff. She is the one that you call They asked him, when you were hired in 2021, how did you know about hotel nights? He said, KK, that was a part of his onboarding. Not only by KK, but by some of the other senior assistants that were working for the Combs Enterprise. They did specify in your tenure with Combs Enterprise, did the company name ever change? He said yes, it went from Combs Enterprise to Combs Global. And as he was giving detail, KK, all right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I lost the signal. It went out. I'm back. Thank you all for waiting. So he did a really good job. I'm gonna hurry up. Shoot. See, that's what I'm saying. Let me hurry. Shit. Damn. I done went to green screen. Hold on, y'all. Let me figure out how to get out of there. Just look at this mess. Hold on. Let me see how to get out of here. Wait. Y'all, how I get out of this? I might have to just throw it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay, there we go. All right. KK, you're going to have to lawyer up. He did a really, really good job of highlighting your participation in all of this. He wasn't trying to be facetious. He is not a disgruntled employee. He's not looking for anything. He's not making any claims of abuse, mistreatment, bad behavior. He said Mr. Combs was nothing but respectful, decent, and nice to him. At one point, he did testify that the assistants had 2 phones. They also had iPads that they used. And at one point, they saw a freak off between Diddy, Jane Doe, and another man. They said, who was the other man? He said, I don't know who he is. All I know is he was a black man. What did you do when you saw it? He said, I ran and I told Mr. Combs. Because they found that, y'all, on the employee iPad, KK and Diddy became very, very paranoid, okay? They became very paranoid. They didn't know how the sex tape or the freak off got on the employee iPad. They pulled him aside. KK questioned him. And what they asked him is they said, do you recall a conversation that you had on January 30th, 2023 between you and KK? He said, yeah. So KK called Jonathan about the video and she recorded him without his consent, and he had no idea that he was being recorded. Why is this important? Remember I told y'all Diddy records everybody. The Combs Enterprise, if you think you're talking, they record everybody. So anywho, 2 of KK's phones were confiscated by the federal government in the Miami airport. So that's how the government and the defense came to know of all of these recordings, that the employees were being recorded, right? He had no idea. So she confronted Jonathan about how he came to find the video, the freak off video. He said, on my iPad. So you can hear him and her talking, going back and forth. She said, I need you to take me back through your story. Tell me step by step by step. Don't skip any detail, because I'm getting calls externally that this tape is out and I want to know how you came to discover and or find this tape. He answered straight up and then the conversation ended, okay? He said that KK left him and said, listen, we have cameras all over this house. We're going to get to the bottom of it. There's going to be an investigation, and then I'm going to follow up with you. They asked him, did she ever follow up with you? No. Do you know if the investigation that she's speaking to, was that a police investigation or an internal investigation? He said internal. I want to go back. They asked him some very pointed questions. Y'all, they got him. To me, they got him. He did a really good job on the behalf of the prosecution. He also did a really good job on the behalf of the defense by establishing, and I'm gonna be honest, Jane Doe was not a victim. Jane Doe was not a victim. Let's be very clear. And I'm not saying that because I'm saying that. When you hear the testimony today, this was a very sophisticated operation, and that's why I say they got him. They also show photos of about 40 to 50 boxes of Astroglide that they confiscated in Diddy's home. Listen to me very closely. Have I not been the first one to say there's an underground sex ring? Have I not said allegedly? If you think about the Combs Enterprise and all of the different business ventures that Diddy has and have developed, one of them that I wanted you to focus on was Revolt TV, that's owned by Comcast. You do not need 40 to 50 boxes of Astroglide because you're having sex with one woman. That's called, what is that? Supply chain. You would order that for like a Sam's Club. You would order that for like a Costco, right? Well, that's how, so when you think about the quantity of the Astroglide, the quantity of the baby whale, y'all, that's one woman, one man, every now and then, a male escort here and there. No, that is indicative of a sex ring. That is indicative of a huge operation, of something that's going on that the government is not talking about, and they don't want us to have access to it, nor do they want to release that information. And I am of unbelief to believe the only reason why you have not brought that to the forefront is because there are particular parties that you need to protect. You need to protect. And I do believe. Okay, are y'all following me? Do you get what I'm saying? 40 to 50 boxes of Astroglide with probably 30 to 40 individual containers in each box. You do the math. You think he needed that for one Jane Doe? Do you not see the entire operation now that I'm laying it out before you? So when you go, and when the other ones catch up to where we are, because we've been saying this for weeks, you can say we said it here first. We've been saying it. To me, it's common sense. It's common sense to me. But when I saw the photos today, I knew it. I was like, okay, confirmed, validated, verified. My question now is, who are you protecting? What are you really looking for? And I do believe this is way bigger than Diddy. I am so passionate about this because I gotta know. Who else is involved with this? His home was just a warehouse. That's where he got in trouble. Because you don't never keep your supply at your place of residence, okay? His home was just a warehouse. Where was this stuff being transported to? You get what I'm saying? Who else were hosting these events? And my question is, what is the going price for a membership? You get what I'm saying? What is the going price for the membership? Like this stuff, if you sit and if you listen and you look, there is something that is hidden in plain sight. There is something that's hidden in plain sight, and it's right before our eyes, but I don't think we've sat down long enough. And you gotta, when you're looking at this case, it's gonna be so important that you don't let these people get in your head. And what I mean by that is steer the narrative. This is about freak offs. These are victims. It's way bigger than that. And if you're not careful, you're just gonna focus in that corner when everything is really happening right here. So what Jonathan was able to do is he was able to establish the RICO, the key players. They asked him who made the travel arrangements when you guys would travel. Her name is Jessica, we call her Jess. What's her role? She's travel manager. What is she responsible for? She's responsible for booking rooms, booking flights. Tell me a little bit more about your role. My role was a personal assistant. Does that require you getting involved in his personal and professional life? Absolutely. Describe some of the day-to-day details. I would help him set up the rooms. I would make sure that the outfits were ready to go. I would coordinate travel, a list of needs for his guests. What do you mean by guest? Jane Doe. So why do you call her a guest? Y'all, so sophisticated. She's a guest. You know what it reminds me of? Celebrities that are guests on television talk shows, and then they give you a list of everything they want in their green room. They showed a text message exchange between Jonathan and Jane Doe, where Jane Doe outlined the type of food she wanted, the drink she wanted, the snacks she wanted. When I tell you full-blown operation and the sophistication of it, this is why I say they got them. This is why I say they got them. That detail is so specific, it's so ironclad, they got her. And here's the crazy part. See, the government didn't read those text messages because they didn't want us to know that that's how deep that Jane Doe is actually involved in this operation. She is not a victim. She should be arrested, in my opinion. She should go to prison too. In my opinion. Like, I'm tired of this BS. Lock them all up. Because what do you need immunity for? And Jonathan got immunity. He got immunity, but let me tell you why he got immunity. He got immunity because he was given weed. He would run weed and take Diddy his weed. They asked him, and he was completely honest. They said, what percentage of your job was dedicated to Mr. Combs' personal needs? He said 1%. And what they meant by personal needs is how often did you go and get the freak off rooms ready? How often did you go take the drugs? How often? He said 1%. Thank you, Jonathan, for being honest. Thank you, Jonathan, for walking in that courtroom and being honest about your level of accountability and not trying to put 20 on 10. Thank you, Jonathan. You did a really good job. Because even though you were a great witness for the prosecution, you did establish Jane Doe as a non-victim. Listen, she may be the head of the prostitution stuff that's going on. She may be the head. They asked him, is she very specific about what she eats? Yes, she is. And if you go look, oh, let me be quiet. I almost slipped. Is she very specific about what she eats? Yeah. Is she strong? He said, I would think so. Did she ever appear as if this was being forced on her? He said, no. No. Did you and her get along very well? Yes, we did. Did her and KK get along very well? No. He said, no. You mentioned several times that Mr. Combs and KK were really, really close. He goes, yeah. Both personal and professionally? He said, yeah. Are you implying that they slept together? He said, no. No. I'm not implying any type of sexual undertone. I'm not implying that any type of sexual relationship occurred. What I'm saying is when they're close, I'm saying professionally. They go hand in hand. And KK, that's why I say they've established you as a co-conspirator. Jane Doe should have been established as a third co-conspirator, but of course she's gotten immunity. In my opinion, Diddy, you've got a lot of ground to make up. You've got a lot of ground to make up. This was the most sophisticated way of nailing you to the cross, right? And this is where I have to take my feelings out. This is where the evidence substantiates everything that you've done. I like the fact that nobody walked in and called him a monster. The evidence is there. They didn't have to do all that extra. They didn't have to play to the emotion of the jury. It's facts, it's black, it's white. Are y'all following me? That's what happened today. And also, Jonathan said part of his role was to research and manage the coordination of meetings. Also make sure that house managers did their job. They asked him, where were you based primarily? He said in Miami. How much did you start off? What was your base salary when you came on board with Mr. Combs in 2021? $85,000. But eventually I was promoted and I made my way up to $100 grand that I was making. He and KK and Diddy had okay. How many assistants did Mr. Combs have working for him? Diddy always had 3 to 4 assistants. They were all male. I found that very interesting. That's just something I noted. They were all male outside of KK. And there was a particular look that his assistants, they showed their pictures too. There was a particular look that his assistants had. They're all Latin men, very Latin, very fair-skinned, Dominican, Puerto Rican looking men, very beautiful men. I don't know their sexual orientation, but they all kind of had the same aesthetic, similar to the women that he chose to engage with sexually. Does that make any sense? Am I helping you all, right? And I'm being fair. I'm being fair. How did you learn about date night? KK onboarded him. That was a part of his onboarding. I'm sorry. How did you learn about hotel night? KK taught me. What does it mean? He was honest. What does it mean to have hotel night? He said, with him and his guests, and they would do, He also said a part of their job as assistants was to get in that hotel and clean that shit up before the maids came in. You hear me? He said we wanted to be respectful of the housekeeping staff. So out of respect for them, we would get in and clean it up. Now, I don't know if it was boo-boo, doo-doo, pee-pee stains, but whatever it is, it seemed like they were tasked with getting in that hotel room. They only had a specific amount of time to do so, and they became very fast, very coordinated at getting in, getting out, gathering up those sheets and those towels. And they showed it, y'all. They showed a text between he and a guy named Joey. Y'all, they showed a text between him and Joey. Joey went to the hotel room because he had to clean it up one time. Why Joey text Jonathan to I done slipped and fell twice. It was so much damn baby wall. Joey slipped and fell, damn near busted his head up in the hotel twice. That's how much baby wall was all over that room. Listen. Now look, if it's just Jane Doe and Diddy and another man confined to one room. How all that baby oil get there in the bathroom? And remember, oh, y'all, these text messages were so detailed. Jane Doe would prep. They would order food. This is a whole production. You don't need that much food for 2 people. You don't need that much food for just 2 people in a room, 3 people in a room. There's more people in those rooms. You remember the government didn't want the names released of the Vegas freak off because I don't think they're protecting anybody. They're just not ready to put a target on those people. There are more celebrities in this room. I don't know what's happening in these rooms, but it seemed as if Jane Doe was looking forward to it, and this today established that was her job. That was her job, and she understood it. She never complained. She would coordinate business back and forth with Jonathan. I need this, this, and that. Get the condoms, get this, make sure you have that. Hey, put this in the room. Y'all, what that sound like? A woman in charge. This is a full-blown operation, and I really think it's above you. It's above me. It's above my intellectual capability to be able to process. I think at this point, we should all sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. I have no emotional attachment to it because I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I think this is, I don't know. Let me see. Let me see what else. Let me see what else. Oh, they established the money. The money. Anytime they needed money, they say, how did you make, okay, well, tell us about the cash. Security handled, now Rico just handled travel arrangements. KK coordinated all of the sex stuff, right? KK coordinated. She was the main person. She's the go-to. You communicate with her. She cleans up the problems. It's like mob style. She fixes the mess. She makes things go away. I need an ETA. How long are y'all in that room? How much longer you gotta go? I need that room set up now. You hear me? There were clients. Trust me, they not saying it. I think men flew in from all over the world. Men flew in from all over the world. They were using aliases. They were using people's name that were not Diddy. These people did not have a choice. So let's just say, for instance, if you were Diddy's assistant and your name happens to be Charles Divine, Charles, guess what? Your name finna be on that hotel room. Your name finna, with or without your permission. So from my understanding and what I was able to pick up, and also it's not about what's being said. Listen to this. Read between the lines. It's not about what's being said. It's about what's not being said. It's about what's not being said. Jonathan connected the dots today. KK's in charge. KK runs the sex trafficking ring, okay? KK onboards you and trains you how to get in, get out, clean the shit up. You need to get there now. Go to the store, get A, B, C, D. Once Jonathan gets it set up, he would text the client. Y'all, this is so good. He would text the client, the room is good to go. You're in room, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing that the government is showing you. They're just showing you the room with Diddy. I want to know about them other rooms that were probably booked for foreign men and billionaires. Who's in them other rooms where you got 50, 60, 70 boxes of baby oil, Astroglides? You probably bought out, I don't know how many hotels, because they do them on Miami, Los Angeles, and New York. Those are the bases that the freak-offs happen. There's a few hotels, Trump Hotel, The Edition, Woodway Hotel, Intercontinental Hotels. They like anything fancy. You know why fancy? Because you go undetected. You can easily come in with the business suit and nobody would ever suspect a thing. You can easily come in with a beautiful lady and nobody would ever suspect a thing. The team goes in and out, and you know why they put the name, the hotel name, in somebody else's name? So when they leave, that person still has a key card to be able to get in and clean that shit up. I'm sorry for pointing my finger at y'all. I'm so proud of myself for breaking this down the way it needs to be broken down. And Diddy, I'm fair, but they got you. They got you. KK, they got you. Jessica, small fish. She's responsible for booking the rooms. Who else? Security's responsible for handing the bag. For handling the money, which is kept in a safe. When you need cash, when they need to pay, security approves all of this. Security delivers the envelopes to the hotels. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm being honest. Okay. Let's see what else. That's it. That's all I got for you today. Happy Friday. Let me see if I can read some of your comments before I leave. Hold on. I wanna read maybe a few comments and then I gotta go. Look, I gotta put on my glasses now. Hold on. Yeah, spot on. Yep. It's good today. Yeah. They don't get. Oh, I don't know how to work these damn comments. Hold on. Thank you all for your super chats. Listen. Okay, thank you, Ms. Neen, for the 5P. She said if he was here in Cali, it isn't illegal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. For that scale of an operation, I think it's illegal, especially if you're not paying taxes. You get what I'm saying? It's illegal, and I've been fair. It's illegal. But if the evidence is there, I cannot skip over it. I don't think you get to run that type of operation and not report it and not pay taxes. It always comes down to money. It's like that's why they don't legalize weed and marijuana in some states versus others, because the government's like, how much we gonna give for it, okay? Let's see. What else? Come through Queen with it, okay? And that's how Diddy can say he was a Trump Towers. But, oh, boom, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's what an assistant does, paying over $1,000. And he would work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. He would actually work the night shift. And some of the freak offs, listen, some of the freak offs, there was a text, oh, let me go this way. Hold on. Go this way. Hey, how you doing? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. There was a freak off. Let me move this out the way now. I'm working with me. There was a freak off at 2:43 a.m. that Jonathan texted Jane Doe and was like, y'all got everything? Y'all good? I'm only 9 minutes away. Let me know if y'all need anything. Y'all, does that sound like, does that not sound like work? If y'all need anything, I'm 4 to 5 minutes away. Such and such is coming with this. Oh, let me tell you what else I found out. This is how I know it's underground. When they would finish, there was a text message that says Ricky is on the way and Ricky is 40 minutes away. They said, who is Ricky? Ricky is the one that comes to give everybody IV therapy, vitamins to get them replenished and rejuvenated. That's it. That's it. So that's all I got today. Yeah. This is a full-blown not only is it operational, you can, if the government wanted to, they could actually argue there's a clinical component to it, because if you have nurses coming in to administer IV, what is it called? Vitamin B, replenishing you, giving you fluids so that everybody that participated could get what they need. What is that? Y'all, this is crazy. It is. CRL said this is deep. Carl, thank you, Carl, for the super. Thank you. Carl says this was an entire operation and then IVs. Yes, he's just first up on the list in my opinion. I think he's the first one they're going after. My thing is this though. Y'all are saying good job. No, you're welcome. I told you I was going to bring you everything. I'm not going to leave nothing out if I can now. Unless the judge says don't do it, then I won't do it. But yeah, you got people coming in, medical staff. And Jane would do protein shakes. She was healthy now. She likes her food. You know, I believe her point of contention is she wanted to climb higher in the ranks. She wanted a level of, I think she wanted to be elevated. I think she wanted roles and responsibilities like KK. That's what I feel. And Diddy never gave it to her. Diddy never gave it to her. And that's why I think she's pissed off. So anywho, I'm all right, Leo. I just like to move sometimes. She said, why you walking away from your bag? Y'all see all my notes? Shoot, I don't play about this. I get my notes. Thank you, everybody. Happy Friday. That's all I got for you. Feel free to share the video. I hope I made it make sense today. All right. Happy Friday. God bless you. Oh, does he get convicted? I think he is, J Boogie, based on today's testimony. Based on today's testimony. Oh, listen. Kanye West did come. Kanye West did come, but you know what? The reason why I didn't cover that, because that's an entertaining part of the trial. And I feel like y'all can get that from anybody, right? Hold on. New York is so damn loud. Thank you, Your Royal Highness, for the $9 super chat. She says, Queen, when you get home, I'm buying you some muscles. Y'all know I like me some muscles, baby. Hold on. Let's go to this one. Tatty, thank you for the $20 super chat. She says, stay safe. Thank you for being fair and transparent. Yeah, they got him today, in my opinion. I got Carl. He said, yeah, it was an entire operation. Y'all, I'm shocked. But when they said IVs, and listen. Now, my thing is, who do you think they're going to go after next? Who do you think they're going to go after next? Kanye or what? But Kanye did come. And I didn't want to focus on that part, because I'm like, that's a part of the entertainment piece. Y'all can go and get that anywhere. I wanted to focus on what the hell was going on in that courthouse, because a lot of content creators didn't come today because the technical aspects of the trial can be quite boring. But that's actually my favorite piece, which are the facts. And when I tell you they went through 2 witnesses in 2 hours, I love it, because now we're talking technicalities. We can't argue facts. We can't argue science. It is what it is. Those are my favorite parts. Thank you, Zippy. Zippy say those are mine too. Those are my favorite parts. Hi, how are you? Listen. Yeah, those are my favorite parts, but it's hook, line, and sink. I think it's a done deal, and it is what it is, and I have to be fair. Even I was impressed with the evidence. When you walk in, you gotta, well, I challenged myself, like, girl, don't take a side. You go ham on it. No matter who's on that stand, you come in, you say, this is good, this isn't good. He a damn lie, she a damn lie. And when I tell you that evidence was ironclad today, now, who can change it? The only people that can change it is the jury. And they trying to they got rid of that one. The one that they knew was you know, when you count your books, when you play spades, you say, I got 2 in a possible. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I'm gonna say it to y'all. And if they have a problem with it, I'll take it out the video. I counted the jurors today, and I said, Diddy got 4. I'm not gonna say who, I'm not gonna describe. There are 4 jurors that I counted that I felt like had a strong connection together as a nucleus. I felt like they all had a connection. I could see them kind of, you know how we do? And I was like, okay, he got 4. Now he got 3. Now he got 3. Now he got 3. So the only thing that could save the day for him, code, is if everybody stick to code. That's the only thing that can save the day. But if you're going by evidence, thank God he didn't have a trial by a judge, because he would be out of here. It's so tough. Glam said it's so tough being a juror. It is, I'm sure. But there's, oh, I can't say what I really want to say. Because now they watching y'all. Now they watching our videos. Like hey, look at him. Oh my God, can you say hi? Look, the police know me. What'd you just call me, sir?
Queen Sheba, darling.
Oh my God.
Listen to you all the time.
You do?
Pleasure. Such a pleasure
Thank
to see
you.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Fun to meet
Can I hug you?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Pleasure.
He
Enjoy.
said he listens to me all the time. The police up in here listening to me, y'all. But don't I be making sense?
Oh, I told you. I write on your comments.
He said he writing the comments.
Said,
Can you say something real quick?
You give me a different perspective.
As law enforcement?
No, just as a human being, as a person. It's
Okay,
a different
thank
perspective on what's going on.
Gotcha.
In other words, you make me think outside the box.
Thank you.
She know what she's talking about.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Told y'all I'll be breaking shit down. Oh, let me tell y'all, my bachelor's is in criminal justice. My bachelor's, and my master's is in organizational psychology. See, law enforcement just said, oh, they want to know if you married. He left, Glam. I'm going to check for you on Monday to see if he married for you. I got you, boo. I told, even law enforcement. So look, I ain't going to steer you wrong. Now, some people don't like me because I be in there popping. Look, I'm going to tell you now. I'm not always right. And when I'm not sure, I be quiet and I watch. But I'm damn sure not always wrong. David said, you talking that real shit. I do. But you know what? I appreciate the New York NYPD saying, we follow you, we listen to you, you make a lot of sense. And if I tell you there's an underground sex ring and NYPD say they follow me and they like me, there must be what? That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. God bless y'all. I'm finna go though. Whoa, it's so obvious. So now look, what y'all gotta do. Start digging. That's what I do. I use a lot of my time a day. Get into Comcast, get on JP Morgan Chase, because JP Morgan Chase had 2 seats on Revolt that's owned by Comcast. Look at the board. Who could have, look at them white men and start saying, who would deal with a rapper? Okay, then find them 2. Hi. Oh my God, I got somebody else here. Listen, you want to say hi?
Oh my God, hi. Hi, everybody.
What you got in your hand?
I got you some singles for the homeless people that's waiting around and lose something for you.
She brought me some singles, y'all, some money, because I always take care of the homeless people too. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, there's a little something in there for you too.
Oh my
so.
God, thank you. Let me get your hug.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Oh, I got an envelope, baby. Queen Sheba got an envelope. Thank you, Mama. Okay, happy Friday. When I tell you people be coming up here and loving on me, but I do share with the homeless because, you know, I feel like you never know. You never know where you could be in life. And God forbid if I ever need help, I will want somebody to think about me. So I make sure I take care of my people out there. I get them, not all of them now, but the ones that I feel kind of safe with. Oh, okay. Jean said, what CEO stepped down? There's one that stepped down. I'm gonna go through the technical part of the finances that Derek Ferguson testified about. We're gonna go through that. Start helping me connect the dots. Okay, so there's a girl that was in my video. I don't know her name, and y'all were like, oh my God, you're standing next to, I promise I don't know her name, I'm sorry. She's the Asian girl. She has like the most TikTok followers. She's here in the courtroom. I think they came in. I don't know if they live in the US or what, if they flew here. She said hi to me. Now that's a big deal because that's an age gap. And I appreciate if she's like the #1 TikTok, whatever y'all said, and 100 million followers, and for her to come over here and say hi, and the Asians don't talk to nobody. I appreciate that. I appreciate her kindness. So, Kat says, do you support Diddy? What I support is I support women. I think it's really important to tell the truth. I know there's a lot of sexual assault victims that don't get the notoriety. They'll never get the platform. They'll never come forward. And if God blesses you with that opportunity as a woman, you need to tell the truth. Because you're going to set the standard and the tone of how we get treated if we are believed and what people really think about us behind closed doors as women. I don't think most of these women have been forthcoming regarding their full participation in some of this and their full reason for asking for money. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so the question is if they're gonna expose other celebrities at some point. I do believe so. Can y'all hear me now? Okay, we good. Can we hear now? Okay, thank you. If I were the federal government, what I would do, hold on, I would pick them off one at a time. Now let's talk about it, because one thing about being smart, you have to get out of your emotions and you got to be able to like toggle between, you know how you can put your phone, you know how you go into your settings and you can toggle switches? That's how you got to think. What would you do if you were the federal government? What would you do if you was Diddy? What would you do if you were the jury? Toggle. You got to be able to think around the board. If I were the federal government, I would pick their asses off one at a time. I'm going to make an example out of Diddy, the first billionaire. I'm going to make an example out of Diddy, the first billionaire. Did he do what they said he did? Yes. But is this case about what they're saying that he did? No. The case is about money. What money? I'm not sure. Follow the money. then you'll figure out the real reason we're in that courtroom. When you figure out where that money leads to, that's the real reason we're in that courtroom. Because if you think that this world that has been biased towards women of color and men of color, if you feel that all of a sudden they care about what's happening to you in a hotel room, I feel like, come back to the other side. It's nice that Jane Doe and Cassie, Don Richard, and all of them get an opportunity to speak. But don't be fooled. It ain't even about you. You're just the means to an end. You're just a part of the process. You're just a tool to get to the other side. And the other side is putting him away, okay? Right, wrong, and or indifferent. The second thing is I would go after the first billionaire. Some of y'all say Ray J. I wouldn't touch Ray J. That's light work. He talked too much. He's on drugs. I would let Ray J cancel himself. That's light work. No need to expend resources on that. You get what I'm saying? Then I would go after Kanye. I would knock these black billionaires off one by one by one by one. And if you haven't listened to one of my videos that I showed you where Louis Farrakhan showed us how the money always go back to sin. The goal of knocking them off, did he do what they said he did? Yes, 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 yes. We've said that a million times, but the goal is always to return to sender. Return to sender. Return to sender. Take the money, return it to sender. Which is why a lot of these record companies, music industries put these life insurance policies on these rappers. It's called key person insurance, right? And I'm going a little bit deeper than I intend to. I'm gonna get up out of here. When I hire you as an artist, see, right now Diddy has life insurance on him from Revolt, Bad Boy Entertainment. That's why I told you, follow the money. And you can insure somebody up to 10 times their annual income. It's legal. Go and see what corporations he's established, who the business partners are, and what the organizational chart looks like. Who's the chief? Who's the VP? Who's the head? He's not CEO of all his corporations. I want to make sure you know that. And then you start to count. If we got 10 companies and you said this is his income, it should be public record, and they can insure him up to 10 times his annual income, that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. Same thing in the rap game. I think he owns a water company, Revolt, all of these other, right? Clothing, all of this. But in the rap industry, have you not noticed the trend since COVID, 2019? Go and do the math. All the black rappers that have died, come back and give me a list. It's perfectly legal to insure them as key person insurance. Yeah, I'll sign you for a year. I'll sign you for a year and kind of give you a net worth of what? Let's say $2 million. But I can insure you times 10, and that's why a lot of them only get 1 year. I can insure you times 10, but God forbid, should one of your black on black crime things happen, I get a $20 million payoff. And that's why black rappers, in my opinion, are worth more dead than alive. That's it, that's all. It happens in every corporation. It happens with every CEO. This is not illegal. This is a perfectly legal game, but they've just structured it in a way to make money off of you. To make money off of you. Nipsey Hussle. Yep. Who else? Who else? I told y'all before, all the female rappers too. And here's the thing about it. Here's how these policies work. They run out in 20 years. So even if I cut you from my label, as long as I pay that premium, I'm good to go for 20 years unless I miss a payment as a corporation. Same thing works if you get insurance on your kids, your spouse. Let's say you get a divorce. It don't matter. You're still the owner of the policy. As long as you keep up that monthly premium. Okay, no problem. As long as you keep up that monthly premium and you don't miss a payment and something happens to your spouse or your ex or your baby daddy or your baby mama, it's perfectly legal. All right? So That's it. That's all. I kind of went a little bit deeper. I'm going to go this time for real. Thank you, everybody. Prosperity 60 said, Queen Sheba, hey, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody that came by today. Thank you to New York Police Department. Thank you to, what's his name? Andre, Big Boy, for liking, he was on my TikTok. Thank you to all of these other people that I don't. 50 Cent Baby Mama reposted everything that we doing out here. Mob Wives. They know. Did KK flip? Not yet, Rodney. I hope she don't. She didn't flip. She hasn't taken the witness stand, but if she's smart, if Diddy's team is smart, I would put her on the stand to kind of outline her duties and responsibilities, to clean it up a little bit, to say, yeah, here's the scope of my day-to-day responsibilities. And sometimes that does include setting up hotel rooms for my client and his girlfriend. If she's savvy enough to spin it, you know, to make it make sense. No, they showed a picture of her. Listen, they did ask Jonathan today, was weed a part? Hold on, let me turn on the thing. It went off. They asked Jonathan today if weed was a part of Diddy's personal and or professional life. If I was Jonathan, I would have said professional. Based on the industry that he's in, this is the norm for the culture to smoke weed. It's legal in New York. So I would consider this a part of his professional life. Nobody caught that. Because it's really not personal if it's legal to smoke weed. Does that make sense? If it's legal to smoke it, that's all. That's all. All right, they said they might get him. Stewart said give him life. I don't know about life. What is it? Siori said don't leave. You know what? Well, we're gonna have a live tomorrow, Siori. It's just that I gotta go. I gotta go eat. A lot of times I stay here too late. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. We're gonna talk tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Bring coffee. I'm gonna open up the lines tomorrow, and I'm gonna kind of let y'all run the show. Woo! All right. Thank you, everybody. Now I gotta figure out how to end this live, y'all. Hold on. And all right.